All right, hello everyone. Adrenaluke here. We got 15 minutes of practice left here at Imola and the Ferrari Challenge. This is my first time really taking this car out for a spin. I've barely touched it before today, but we're actually going to do I'm not sure why IRL Ram's in a BMW, and this is supposed to be a Ferrari Challenge race. But for those of you that don't know, the Ferrari Challenge is a one-make racing series by Ferrari, and it's very, very different from their GT3 race car. This has significantly less grip. They don't use tire blankets on the tires, so the tires start out a lot more cold, although I think the ideal running pressures is right at 27 even PSI. So I did perfect the starting tire pressures to where after about 4 laps I get it right to where it should be. And this is a very tricky car to drive, surprisingly. I mean, it's a lot more tricky to handle than you'd think. I think it really it separates the men from the boys. I mean, this is they're not kidding when they call this car the Ferrari Challenge. It really is a challenge. I think it's loads of fun once you get the hang of it. You got to really feather the throttle and be very careful through the corners. It feels kind of like a very old school race car. It's not very it doesn't have as much mechanical or electronic assistance as modern race cars. In fact, this has no differential. And if you guys don't know, a differential is crucial to help you in cornering in modern race cars, because the differential evens out the torque distribution. If one tire is having more rotation than the other, it will distribute more torque to the tire that's having less rotation. So that's what a differential gear does. There is no limited slip differential in here. And it has very, very light traction control. Same thing with ABS. You don't want to run high TC or ABS on this thing, so not much assistance. It's just a driver's car. It all comes down to just the driver. There's not much assistance from the car itself. So this really is a challenge. It's loads and loads of fun. We don't have a huge grid in here. We got 6 people, but regardless, even if I had the track to myself, just driving this thing feels so fun because you're working to try to conquer this thing. It's like fighting you the whole time. You are in a constant battle to try to maintain control of this thing and try to tame this beast, because you're on edge the entire time. You're feathering the throttle and you always want to put down a little bit more power, but at the same time you're trying to be right on edge of, you're trying to push this car to its very limits, and those limits are very, very punishing compared to most cars, and for that reason this is very addicting, because you always feel like you can just push it a little bit further, but it's dangerous, and that sense of danger to try to push this thing a little bit further is what makes this thing so fun. Alright, before I take this out on the track, I'm going to go ahead and share the link to this broadcast around certain Discord groups and PSN groups, just to kind of advertise this live stream to get a lot of people watching. Hopefully we can get more people watching this live stream than the people that are wanting to participate in this race. This is from IRL, although this is not, it is the IRL Sim Racing League, but this is not a actual league race. So this is not counting towards any championship points. It is not in the championship series. So this is not going towards any points. This is not towards a season. This is just a race to come out and have some fun. I really wish we can get some more people in here. If you guys are a part of IRL, you have no idea what you're missing. Every Wednesday they do fun races like this. You got to get on out here and have some fun with us. It's an absolute blast. All right. I better get focused on the task. I'm going to go ahead and share my link. Oops, I just sent a link on a direct message. I'm meaning to send these links to Discord groups. I'm just so distracted talking about how beautiful of a drive this car is. It's just magnificent to drive. There's so many cars and modern race cars now that just miss that unique feeling you get from an old school style car. And that's what I think this is. It has so much characteristics of a very old school race car that just make it an absolute blast to drive. Although, in real life, it does use paddle shifters, like the paddle shifters we have here. So that part of it's not old school, but pretty much every other aspect of this just screams old school racing. Even though this has paddle shifters. So you're not using a stick shift on this. You wouldn't in real life even. So the paddle shifters here is realistic to simulating what you do in the real race car. So that's the only new school thing in this, is it uses paddle shifters instead of stick shift. Everything else is pretty much old school racing in this thing. And I better hurry up to get this link posted everywhere, because it seems the time of the practice session is running out, and we're about to go into qualifying very soon here. It looks like I'm third in the pace in practice here. So I'm right in the smack dab middle of it. It looks like Butler Racing is flying through here. So is Tango. Those people seem to be very talented in this car. Darnell, Ram, and Smitherson seem to be struggling a little bit more than me. And they're actually pretty far off pace from where I am. So it'll be interesting to see. I mean, consistency can be all over the place in this thing, though. It's going to be very difficult to stay consistent in this. So those are just our fastest lap times you're seeing in the chart there. But consistency is going to be very troublesome in this thing. So we're going to have to see what happens. All right, I keep getting way too distracted. Sorry, guys. I should be knocking this out way faster so we can get on the track. Too much talking, not enough driving. Just going to post a link in one more place, and then we'll go ahead and head on out there. All right, that's enough posting my link everywhere. That's enough chit-chat. I'm just going to go ahead and reload my setup because I think the tire pressures and the brake temperatures were syncing this entire time that I was talking since the car's just kind of sitting there. So resetting the temperatures on both the tires and the brakes. I've noticed on this thing you got to have the brake ducts open very wide, actually. You can't have the brake ducts closed very much, which is interesting compared to most cars. All right, I believe my ignition is already on. And even when you're under the pit limiter in this thing, you got to be very careful. I mean, this thing is so sensitive to torque that I don't even take the RPMs that high, and there's lots of short shifting. Especially my tires are going to be very cold. As I said, there's no tire blankets that they keep this thing on. Feathering the throttle and short shifting just on our way out of pit entry. That should give you guys an idea of just how much discipline this car demands. You can see, I think that's Darnell there that ended up in the gravel. And Darnell's a very talented driver. I did a little bit of fishtailing there myself. Lots of fishtailing there myself. Definitely, they do not joke around when they call this thing the Ferrari Challenge. And it is just so fun to try to conquer that challenge. Taking it pretty easy here as I get temperature in the tires and brakes, and then I'm definitely going to be going much faster. You have to have such a old school driving technique in this thing too, not just in the nature of how the car is, but you got to have a very straight line everywhere. You got to get the nose pointed exactly where you want it to go and just robotically stay there almost. And as you can see, I'm fighting the car a lot. Not as much of a shallow line as I'd like through the chicane there. Might want to be slowing down a tad bit early just to line it up more. This braking zone's the trickiest in the whole track, at least in this car. Really feathering that throttle on the way out. And this is a 7-speed too, which I'm mostly used to 6 speeds, a lot more gear shifting than I'm used to.
Yellow flag ahead, be careful.
And I slowed down way too late there, ended up in the gravel. It looks like IRL Ram messed up in front of me there too, so this is going to be a very interesting race. Seems like all of us are struggling with this thing, but we're very new to it. I think this is all of our first time really with this thing. Now I did take my time and experiment with the setup on my own. I wonder how many people are just using the default setup. I've actually adjusted the caster on this thing, and I never adjust the caster angle on almost any car. I think this is the most difficult car to talk while driving by far out of anything. Okay, slow down a little bit earlier than last lap here. Line up the angle. There we go. Short shift into third gear on the way out. Avoid the anti-cut on the outside there. Now again, we're approaching the most difficult braking zone. You really got to line this one up. If you have any bit of body roll during your braking there, it's going to give you lots of trouble. I was a little late on the throttle there. I could have been more aggressive on the way out. As you see, my lap time is highlighted in red, which means this is not a valid lap. We did exceed track limits, unfortunately. That's where we ended up on the gravel last lap. You got to be very careful on this thing. I'm telling you guys right now, this is probably deceiving from what you're watching. There's so much more going on that you can physically feel driving this thing than you can ever tell just by watching it. So much micro adjustments on the throttle and the steering angle as I drive here.
What are the proper pressures for this car?
I would say right at about 27 even. Got a little over 3 minutes of practice left. And again, this is way more difficult to handle than you guys can tell just by watching this. I mean, this thing is, it's just really fun to try to conquer this though. That's just what's so addicting about it. You get such a dopamine release when you keep this thing under control and go fast at the same time with it. It's got that old school feel that a lot of modern race cars just lack overall. Way too wide there. Delta's still looking green, which is actually surprising to me. I purposely head towards the right side of the track there and keep the nose straight because there's a bump that you don't really quite... Oh, jeez. Because that section back there's a bump that you don't quite see, but you can certainly feel it. And if you're not angling the nose towards the outside on the way out, all the way, it's going to unsettle the car. Even though it's not a curb or anything, it's just a slight bump on the track. Hey, Jesse, how's it going? This is really going to be putting every single one of us up to the test in this race. It's going to be just the ultimate test of driving skill and ability. It's going to be very, very fun. I can't wait for this race. I think really throttle discipline is the most important thing about this car. And this car really is really plays as living proof of how spoiled we are with differential in every car, besides this one. I like to shift into second just for rotation there, and I don't go before I go back on throttle. I shift to third. This is the Ferrari Challenge. It is significantly different than the Ferrari GT3 car. Really, the only similarities is that this thing is on the same steering lock angle. That's about it. Everything about the physics of this is tremendously different. Like I've been saying, it's deceiving because this looks way more easy than it actually is. It's a very old school car in a way that there's just no assistance to the driver in this thing. It is pure driving skill, and it's just you gotta work to try to conquer this thing. It's fighting against you the entire time that you're driving it, and that makes it feel so addicting. And they call it Ferrari Challenge for a reason, because this is a challenge. So the practice session's over. We're about to go into qualifying. I am third place as far as the pace goes in practice, so it'll be interesting to see if I can keep that up during qualifying. Yeah, this is, well, I'm not sure why IRL Ram's in a BMW, but I think I saw him in a Ferrari Challenge out there, so maybe that's just a glitch in the game. But, yeah, everyone should be in Ferrari Challenge. That's the rules for this race. And I wish we had more people in here. And before I qualify, I'm going to turn a fan on because it's getting like a sauna in this room. Alright, so I apologize for any background noise since I had to turn a fan on. I'm going to go ahead and let me get my camera out of the way to check what temperature it is. Okay, looks like the ambient temperature is only 1 degree off from the starting pressures that I set, but I'm still probably just going to bump them up by 1 for qualifying, just because we only have about 8 minutes left of quali. So I'm going to drop my fuel load down to just 12 liters. Looks like we're on fresh tires with no wear. There are no tire blankets on this thing, so the tires are going to start a lot colder than in a GT3 car, so that's why I'm having my starting pressures just 0.1 psi up higher each, because we have a limited time to qualify here. And gonna be weaving even out of the pit lane exit here.
Stay away from curbs.
A little bit of weaving here. Out of desperation to get some heat in as quickly as we can. Like I said, we got 8 minutes to qualify here. Feathering the throttle and short shifting just on our way out of pit lane to give you guys an idea of just how much of a challenge this thing really is. How's it going, Ken? Nice to see you. Being extra cautious on the outlap because the tires and brakes are going to be ice cold. The main priority here is obviously not to set a time because we're just on the outlap, so we're just getting temperature in. And I might purposely go pretty slow here just to distance ourselves from the car in front, because next lap is when it's going to start counting our lap times for qualifying. So the more distance we can have, the more track we can have to ourselves next lap, the better. So that way we can't have anybody slowing us down in front of us. Second gear just a rotation, back in third gear before I punch it back on throttle. And you saw there was a little bit of unsettling on the car right there. There's just this tight little bump that you don't quite see that you go over. And that's exactly what I was talking about earlier. Again, third gear before I go back on throttle. This car is hypersensitive to any directional changes. You have to be very, very straight in this thing. And right here, you can't really hit the brakes until you have all of the center of gravity recentered. If any of your G's are to any of the side of the car, if you have any single body roll, if the weight is still shifting to one side and you hit the brakes, you're going to unsettle the car massively and you might possibly just spin out of control. How's my voice volume, guys? Can you hear me all right? Or do I need to turn the game volume down a little bit? This is a car that you slowly learn how much you can push it, and you slowly learn you can push it a little bit further each lap. This is not one where you want to try to get it right at the limit right off the bat.
Game volume 1 spot on.
All right, good to know. But you just slowly gain more confidence lap by lap in this thing. Nice strong exit onto the front straight here. Let's see what lap time we can pull off. I don't think this is going to be our best. We can definitely be faster than this. I'm just feeling it. So that was a 48.1. Let's try to go for a high 47. We still got time. Almost a full second on the Delta there. It's looking good. See if we can get this apex nice and tight. Nailed it. All right, that was a solid lap. And that was a high 46. Let's go. I'm parking it. I'm satisfied. Woo! All right. I'm so happy about that. Looks like we're 7/10 off the pole sitter right now. Pole sitter is a low 46, so we're not too far off pace from pole sitter. Lots of people are struggling in this car big time, though, and I'll tell you one thing. Thank you, Jesse. Yeah, thank you. I'll tell you guys one thing. Man, my eyes are burning. I'll tell you guys one thing. Patience is really rewarding in this car because this is anything but forgiving. It's very, very punishing. Even the slightest of mistakes are going to punish you a lot in this thing. So having patience and being really smooth with it is what makes you fast in this. So you actually have to drive it less aggressively. Like, when you think of GT3 cars, taking more risks and being more aggressive is where that's rewarding. Here is the complete opposite. Having patience here is what is rewarding in this thing. But you gotta have a balance. If you be too patient, if you be too patient in this thing, and you try to be too smooth and too cautious, then you'll obviously be too slow. But at the same time, if you push the limits, this thing, it is so strict to where if you just push it a tad bit too hard, you will just lose control on this thing. And that's what I'm saying is it's so addicting because every lap you're thinking I can get a little bit closer to that balance of caution and risk. And you got to find that balance in this thing between driving it cautiously and taking risks in it. And you want to just push it as far as you can to where you're being cautious enough, but you're not taking too much risks in it. And I think I found that balance in that lap, and it's just such a satisfying feeling. I don't think I get the same dopamine release driving a GT3 car. The reason why I think this doesn't have as much popularity is just because of how much of a challenge it is. Lots of people will be intimidated by this thing, but if you take the time to learn how this handles, I guarantee you, you'll be hooked. The kind of old school, handling that this thing has is an art that is being lost in modern racing. By the way, I think it's worthwhile to mention that I had a brilliant race in a public lobby earlier. It was at Nürburgring. I think I started in P8, and I finished, well, I don't want to spoil where I finished, because I'm going to post the full footage of that race later on, but I'm actually going to edit in voiceover commentary. I wasn't recording myself, so unfortunately you're not going to see me behind the wheel and camera view of that, but I will have voiceover commentary, and I will work on editing that video together so you guys can be in for a show, because that race was action-packed, non-stop. Every lap was bumper-to-bumper action. Lots of people passing me, lots of me passing people right back, and just back-and-forth battles everywhere. Sometimes we were in packs of 4 going into corners. I mean, my goodness, it was just such a race earlier today at Nürburgring, so I'm going to work as soon as I can on getting voiceover commentary edited into that, and I will post that bad boy up on my channel, and you guys can look forward to watching just a phenomenal race there too. But hopefully, despite us having a very small grid here of 7 people, hopefully this can provide for great racing. But the thing about this Ferrari challenge car, like I said, is even if you're taking it out by yourself on a track, it's such a blast. It's so fun, and that's the thing, is that you guys can't physically feel how much it's fighting against you, and how much you're putting so much thought into everything you do in this thing. I mean, the footwork you do on the throttle pedal is so crucial. It's like you're playing mental chess on every single moment of you driving this car. And with that being said, if you're driving this Ferrari challenge car out on the track by yourself, given how unique of a feeling it is, it's just so much fun. It's because of how hard you're trying to fight to keep it under control, that makes it addicting even if you're driving it by yourself. So I have no doubt that this is going to be a blast, even if I'm kind of by myself and there's big gaps in front of me and behind me, and I'm just kind of spacing myself out in this race when there's not much people around me, not much battles going on. But the thing is, we're going to see a lot of people messing up probably in this, because this is going to be a challenge, to keep this under control. I mean, it's literally called Ferrari Challenge. So, because of how hard this is to keep under control, I have no doubt that there's going to be people losing control during this race, and so the placings are going to go all over the place. The lap charts are not going to look linear. The lap charts are going to look like a scrambled mess. There's going to be people all over the place. We might even see the pole sitter go from first place to last place and then to mid-grid in the next lap. This is probably going to be... I'm interested to see how this race is going to turn out, despite the fact that there's only 7 people in it. It's a small grid, but it's still going to be fun. And I have no doubt about that. Now, let me make sure that I have my race setup loaded in here, because we don't want to be on the low fuel load of qualifying, because we will definitely run out of fuel there. I did calculate how much fuel we'll need. It's going to be a 30-minute race, so I think 55 liters should be, well, you know, we're actually using, how's it going, Graham? We're actually using more fuel now, so let me recalculate this. We should have time. We got 2 minutes and 40 seconds before the race starts, so now I'm not sure if when I loaded in this setup page, if it's just showing the default on the fuel per lap estimation there, because I haven't driven in this setup that I just loaded. So I hope that's the... I think it actually is a default setting, because it only shows 3.4. It's so static. Normally, if you were actually... Yeah, normally if you were actually... Good call, good call. Okay, there we go. Fresh tires are on. Thank you! Fresh tires are on now. But, given the fact that it only says 3.4 flat and there's no other numbers after that decimal point there, I think it is the default fuel estimation, not anything that is feedback from our driving. Because if it was feedback from our driving, it would be lots of numbers there. It would be like 3.4712, etc., and it would go on forever. So I'm going to stick with my guns here. I'm going to stick with the fuel that I calculated earlier. Hopefully that has not changed. You know what? Just to be on the safe side, we're going to put in 2 extra liters. 57 liters, why not? 2 extra liters is not going to weigh us down too much extra. So we should be good to go. So we're starting in the top 3 here. Thank you for telling me to put on fresh tires, by the way. I wouldn't have caught that if it weren't for you. Sometimes my viewers can be very helpful, and I can't thank you guys enough for that. I didn't have significant wear on the tires, but it still is going to count. You know, every single... Yeah, man, every single 10th you can gain is going to count in a race, so thank you for that. I'll go ahead and show you guys the livery I have in my car. I think it looks pretty cool. It's dark navy blue with white accents. I think that's just a really cool color scheme. Right, ignition is on. Go ahead and turn on the engine, fire it up. Wow, this thing idles at 2,000 RPMs. That's a race car, all right.
How many laps or time is the race?
So it's a 30-minute race. That's what every race that you do with ACC
Low tire pressure, stay away from curbs.
is always going to be by time, not by maximum laps. So it's a 30-minute race. No pit stop requirements. We're only going to pit if we're running super low on fuel or if we have damage, of course. Do a little bit of weaving here to get some heat in the tires during the pace lap as we get ready to roll under the green flag once we come back around to the starting line. Tango's playing with Butler up there, look at that. They're playing with each other. Now I actually have my foot on the brake at the same time, and that's generating a little bit of heat in the brakes. You can see on the bottom right of my screen, you can see that diagram, color-coded of the temperature in the brakes. In between the tires is the brakes there. And you can see the color of that is turning into a lighter shade of blue and almost a green now, light green. That's because I'm not only having my foot on the gas, I'm applying light pressure on the brake pedal simultaneously. And if you guys don't do that during the pace lap, you have to. It's very, very beneficial for generating heat in the brakes, which in turn, the more heat you have in the brakes, is going to escape out to the tires too, especially because the setup I have in this car, the brake ducts are very open. The brake ducts are wide open, so lots of heat is going to be escaping from those brakes into the tires as well. We're going to do a little bit more weaving back and forth, generate more friction in the tires, get more heat. You can hear the spotter here said we need to go into double file now, so we're going to pull up to the side of Butler. We're going to be behind Tango and to the left side of Butler as we get ready to go double file right up here. Alright guys, grab your popcorn. We're going through the last double apex turn right up here, and then we'll be approaching the starting line as we're going to go under the green flag. Here we go. Here comes the green flag.
Green light. Give it all you got. Car on the right. Clear on the right. Car on the right. Clear on the right.
A little bit of argy-bargy up there. Slight bits of contact. Darnell slid wide on the way out. Whoa! Big hit there. All right, Darnell, the battle's on for me and you. Let's see what you got. Spoke too soon.
Car on the left. Clear on the left.
All right, we're already in the lead. 29 minutes to go, though. What did I say about patience being rewarding in these cars? We have 28 minutes to maintain this lead. Can we do it? Solid first lap. We're off to a great start. Let's keep it up. I want to try to be a little bit more shallow through there. Straighten out the line more. We're establishing a gap already between me and P2. A little light on the throttle there, nothing major. Got purple lap. Had to lift a little bit there. We're doing great so far, though. Looking at a 2-second gap. A little wide on the exit. That is how you take that section there. Nice shallow line through there. Held on to third gear too long there, though. I got distracted while talking. Okay, Ram's closing in on us now, but that's probably because I held on to third gear too long. It's about half a second closer to us. Let's make sure he doesn't catch up. We came in a little bit too hot there. We're pulling away from him now. We don't want to get too comfortable. We still got 21 minutes to go, but we've maintained the lead for almost 10 minutes. A lot better than last lap. Beautiful, that was beautiful. Not the strongest exit out of that turn. We're looking at a 2.3 second gap. Not the best line through the chicane. Lude's abilities, he is a very fast driver, so we gotta stay on our A game. We can't get too comfortable in the lead here. Oh shoot, I braked too late. Oh, okay, we still made it. I had to press on the brakes super hard there, guys. Almost at the halfway point, we're still in the lead. These are very sensitive to vertical load transfer, so you have to be very careful if you start to have a slide on whether you lift off the throttle or not, because if you try to lift off the throttle to correct a slide, it could very easily result in lift-off oversteer in these things. Alright, I'm having a little bit of driver fatigue as I'm off pace. You can see that P2 is right on my tail now, so we definitely got to pick up the pace here. We're almost at the halfway point. Come on, we can do this. And P2 is making its presence known right in our rearview mirror there. If you go wide on the exit, this could be it. Oh, we still maintain the lead.
Keep it up, Luke. Great driving.
Thank you, Jesse. Alright, the battle is on as IRL Ram's right behind us now. He's within slipstream range, and he's definitely within range to make a move. So we're going to be hugging the inside here to make sure he can't make a pass. Got to get defensive now when he's that close. And we're able to open a gap back up a little bit there on the exit end of the front straight. But he's such a talented driver that I guarantee you that gap's going to close very quickly, so we got to stay on our toes. Once again, he's within striking distance. We got to get defensive. Make sure I don't go wide so that he can't go for a move. There we go. Punch it on the way out. And we're opening the gap up a little bit once again. But he's going to be putting up a fight. He's hungry for the lead. Nice and easy through the chicane here, nice and easy. A lot of lateral movement on the exit there, but we're still far ahead. He might be running a lot more downforce on the setup because he's catching us on the corners, but we're pulling away on the straight. He's still within a second behind us. And we got lap traffic to deal with up ahead. And I believe that's Graham ahead of us. He's a good friend of ours, so he should let us through. A little bit of traction loss there. Oh, I think IRL just messed up. I think Ram just hit the barrier, I think. I'll check in a second. Yes, Ram is messed up. Ram has hit the wall. Wow, we got 10 minutes to go here. I told you guys there are going to be people messing up left and right in these cars. They are a handful. If you push them just a little bit too hard, they will punish you. And I believe that IRL Ram, who was in second place for a long time, was getting a little bit too eager to catch up to me and pass me for the lead. And feeling that pressure, he pushed it just a tad bit too hard and it punished him. So Graham's letting us by there. Thank you, Graham. Check out his YouTube channel, by the way, Graham Games. He's a great content creator. Went a little bit wide there. That messed up our rhythm through that series of turns there. We're definitely losing our rhythm here. We got to concentrate. Butler Racing's not messing around. He's only a second behind us. Last 10 minutes of the race. We went wide there, but we're still a ways ahead of Butler there. And I'm suffering a little bit of driver fatigue, even just in the short amount of time I've driven this thing.
Head down, keep your cool.
Right. Head down, focus on the driving, you're right. Come on. Oh no! A little bit of contact there, but we're still in the lead. Oh my gosh. We got this. 6 minutes. 6 minutes. Butler was thinking about going for a move there, but we still held on to it. Come on, 5 minutes. Oh, we're going deep. The battle is on. This battle is on. minutes.
Car on the left. We've got light damage in the rear. Clear on the left.
Alright, he's given the position back.
Clear on the left.
A little bit of contact there. I do not think that was intentional, though. It happens in racing. I know Butler's a clean driver. Ah! Oh no!
Car on the left. Clear on the left.
Oh my gosh! Man, we are racing! These cars are a blast! Oh my gosh, guys, last 2 minutes. We're struggling. Come on, let's finish strong. This should be the last lap.
Right, mate.
Come on!
Last lap and you're the leader. Keep it together.
They're having a close battle back there. That's going to slow them all down. I got the track to myself. All three of them back there are close together. The odds are in my favor. Let's bring this home. Almost there. Oh no! Woo! That was close. Oh my gosh, guys.
Well done keeping cool under the pressure. Great race, man, you nailed it.
Yes!
See you in the minutes.
Yes!
Bring it back.
Oh man! Oh. Whew. Let's save some of those highlights. Oh Oh, guys, first place. I think that's my first time having a first place victory with IRL. These guys, you have no idea how fast these guys are, so that's why it feels so good. Especially IRL Ram and Butler, those guys put on an amazing fight against me. Freaking COVID, yes! This is going on a YouTube video, guys. I love these cars. That was the most exhilarating kind of driving ever. I mean, man, just like how hard these are to keep under control while having an intense race.
Well done, bro. I struggled in the car.
Yeah, Graham, these cars are fun though, aren't they? Like they're hard, but they're fun.
Great to watch that race.
Thank you, Jesse, and thank you, Graham. Oh my gosh, guys, I did it! Oh, there were moments in there where I didn't think I was going to pull it together. I want to give a quick shout out to Butler for letting me get the position back after the contact. And I know he had to put up with me defending hard. I know that Butler's faster than me, so I had to defend pretty hard to still win that race. Because, man, if Butler saw any opportunity to pass me, he would. All right. That's it for today's stream, guys.
They had you under pressure for a while.
Yeah, a lot of pressure. I can't be any more happy. Well, you know what? Let's look at a little bit of the
or practicing from the pits.
Let's look at the Oh, you had no practice in these things?
Yeah,
Graham, these things
the Butler giving spot back.
Graham, you drove very impressively for having no practice in these things, because these cars are a beast that you're trying to tame. I'm still trying to catch my breath after that. What an amazing race for only 7 people, because we had such a small grid, but we were staying close that whole time. Man. It was an amazing race. Let's check out some of the highlights of that. I got to delete some of these highlights to create room here pretty soon. Let's look at these highlights, guys. And after we check out some of the highlights, I'll go ahead and call it a day. But man, what an amazing race. I'm going to turn the volume down real quick. Give me 1 second. All right. So this was a race start, and it was a little chaotic, if I remember right. People were... Remember, we don't start on tire blankets like we do on GT3 cars, so you got to keep that in mind. We're on very cold tires. Somebody in the gravel there. I think when he did the rejoin, that's when contact occurs, maybe. Nope, not on the rejoin. Right there. Okay, let's look at that contact. Let's change the camera view, and let's look at that contact between them. So oh, one of them spun in front of him. And he had no room to avoid him, so he spun right in front of him. Okay, wow. Wow. Let me get it right back to our car now. Oh, somebody was in a BMW. Not supposed to be in that car, sir. Okay, there's us, and we're already in the lead. Let's change the, let's get it on the TV camera view. There we go. That's a beautiful looking car, isn't it? Ferrari makes really nice looking machines. Man, these things were an absolute blast to drive. So this is between Darnell and somebody. My camera, let me move my camera. Give me 1 second. Let's get the camera out of the way. Give me 1 second here. All right. We got the camera on the left side now, so it's not going to be in the way, so we can see on the top right of the screen who this is between. So looks like Butler made a move on Darnell there. We're going to change the camera angle right back to this one, because I like how this one looks. Darnell was struggling with this car, it looks like. This is a car where it's going to take some people some time to get used to. I'm sure if Darnell spends a little bit more time on this thing, he's going to get the hang of it. I have confidence that he will. Okay, so this is between Tango and Butler. Let's see if Tango's going to make a move. Getting right up close behind Butler's rear bumper there, picking up a slipstream draft behind him. Trying to make a move up the inside. He didn't quite have enough room. Had to fall back. Smart on him to fall back. You don't want to go too. You don't want to go side by side just yet. There. He's being patient. He's waiting for the right moment. Sometimes it'll say overtake, but we never do see right there. I said overtake, but we never really do see an overtake. ACC is weird in that way. All right, we're not going to look at the BMW because I have no idea why somebody was in a BMW in this race. All right, so let's fast forward here. Okay, so this was a yellow flag, and you can see there. I believe that's. I don't know if that's Ram or Butler behind me. No, that has to be Butler, because yeah, that's okay. That's when the contact happened between me and Butler. So let's go back. Let's see this from Butler's perspective. So we're gonna move it to Butler, and we're gonna get it in the chase camera. And we're gonna slow the footage down. Okay, so he's on the brakes there. He's trailing on the brakes. He's making a move up the inside, but he's gonna have the angle very tight there. I already committed to the corner. I didn't think he was gonna be that aggressive of a lunge, and we see a little bit of contact there. I don't think any of us saw that coming. Or either of us saw that coming. Both of us end up in the gravel. No, it was a very nice gesture of Butler to let us by there. If he wanted to, he could have kept going. But, you know, us at IRL, we like to race really fair. So major props to Butler for giving the position back. And, you know, even though he gave the position back, he knew that he was faster than me. I am in no way as fast as Butler. So I had to put up a hell of a fight defending to make sure that he does not pass me. Because if he... You know, once he does get, like here he gave the position back, but if Butler went past me and he wasn't giving the position back, if he went past me, he could have easily soared, because this guy is way faster than me, so that's why he felt so much pressure with him right in my rearview mirror. So he does give the position back there, as you see us going on by. I'm on the front straight there, and we're going to skip past this BMW again. I don't like seeing a car that doesn't belong in this race. Okay, so this was the race finish. And I didn't finish like super far ahead of them either, but they were having a three-way battle back there, which slowed them all down because they have to be defensive against each other. I did not have to defend. I had enough range to where I had it all by myself. Seeing the checkered flag wave right in front of my face with no one in front of me coming across the line, taking home a first-place victory against some of the fastest people I know here at IRL. I cannot be any more happy with how this went today, and I wonder if we're going to see the victory donuts we did, or if the replay cuts out before that. Let's see here. I think we might see the beginning of... There we go, the victory donuts! And I don't know why we're not seeing smoke going everywhere, but you only saw like the beginning of those victory donuts there. But I am going to upload... not only the race footage of this race that you guys just saw here live, but I'm also going to upload footage of a race that I did in a public lobby at Nürburgring earlier today, where I will record voiceover commentary over that video. So you guys can look forward to some new content. I almost said new commentary. You guys can look forward to some new content coming on my channel here very soon. Thanks for tuning into this broadcast. We got to see some amazing racing. I can't be any more happy with the first place victory that I took home today. These cars are an absolute blast to drive. These cars are amazing. Thanks for stopping by, Jesse. Thanks for watching, Graham. I appreciate you guys a whole bunch. Race fast, race clean, and I will see you all in the next video.